Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Carl Sawatsky. On behalf of CTC Train Canada, I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to everybody today to our webinar on Discover What's New in Adobe Acrobat DC. So I know many are excited about this new release given the richness of all of its new features. And so today we're very pleased and privileged to have with us Bert Schopf. And Bert will go into 5 features in particular on this new release. And not only will he cover what they are, but also how you can use them and how you can benefit from them in your daily work. So we're really looking forward to that and seeing how we can leverage these new features. Bert is very well positioned to help us out with this. He has over 25 years of hands-on design experience, as well as 25 some odd years of instructor experience as well. So Bert, I'm going to pass the word over to you, I believe.
Welcome to the this selection of the presentation. I'm just going to close this window. Thank you very much. Yeah, one of the things that's really noticeable about the change in Adobe Acrobat when we've gone to Acrobat DC is the change in the look of the program. I've included here a screen capture of Acrobat XI or 11, the most previous version, and its menus are, the placement of the tools are similar in that we've got a panel on the left and a panel on the right, many different topics, but the look is kind of different. Here, when we look at the interface, it's changed up a little bit. Some of the icons on the right are more colorful. This is more customizable, and we've got a simpler tool set for people to use. This simpler interface is nice. There are fewer buttons, but all the features are there. Let me close this document, and we're actually in Acrobat DC right now. And I want to open a different document for you. And so when you open a document, basically, this is the dialog box or the look you're going to see. We're going to have a little bit of a look around. I'm going to look for a file. I can look for recent files. I can look for files that I've sent. I can search for files on my computer. I can go to the document cloud to pull files. I can go to the Creative Cloud and places like Dropbox and SharePoint. I'm going to cover those in just a minute. I'm going to go to a folder I've prepared for today, and I'm going to choose a folder called DC Sample Files, and I'm going to open one of these for you. And here's one just so we can have a peek at. All right, so the function of Adobe Acrobat is still pretty much the same. And if we look at some of the other features that we've got in here, let's start on the panel on the left and look at what's different about what we're seeing. On the left-hand side here, we have our panels here for thumbnails. And this is as we've seen them before. I'm just going to go to a full-page view so you can see that. So we've got the thumbnails here, and we had those before. But one thing that's significantly different is this little button in here. In the old version of Acrobat, we didn't have a whole lot of options, but we've got a lot of options that we can work with just through the thumbnail view in here in terms of inserting pages from another PDF, extracting pages, cropping pages, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So this is nice to be able to do this just through the thumbnail view, which gives us additional options which we didn't have before. Bookmarks is pretty much the same. We can see that there's a few bookmarks in this document already. And its function hasn't really changed a lot. Attachments, there is a file attached to this document as well. You can see it's a Microsoft Word file. And attachments, it's still pretty much the same as well. There are some other features. For instance, there's a layers feature, but we don't have any layers currently in view. Now, in terms of the panels we have here on the left, there are more panels than the 4 we just see here. In fact, if you simply just right-click over the panel, you can see the options of all of the other panels that are available to you. Articles, for instance, and content, destinations, layers, the model tree, reading order, signatures, and tags. So you can pretty much customize this panel for the tools that you want to use as well. Now, let's see the other thing that's really different about basically what we're looking on the screen. At the top, the File, Edit, View, Window, Help menus, they really haven't significantly changed. And we saw the home view a moment ago where we just got to choose where we choose our files from. Now, one of the major departures that we're looking at for Acrobat DC is the fact that it reaches out more to the internet for cloud-based storage. For instance, I can look on my local computer here and look for different types of files to open in Adobe Acrobat. I can go up to the document cloud, and if I open a resume, an index file, whatever it is, there are files that I can store up on the cloud. When you're in Acrobat, you can save your document to the cloud, and it will put it on one of these folders. There's another one for the Creative Cloud, which was set up as well earlier on. Now, this next part is a little bit new, and I really like this as well, because if you use Dropbox or any other internet-based file sharing mechanism, you can simply add it here. For instance, if you wanted to add any account, I'm going to click the Add Account button here so you can see. We can add a box file. Dropbox is already added. I did that earlier on. You can add your OneDrive file or a SharePoint site. If you have access to a SharePoint site, simply click the Add button, put in your account name, and enter the URL, and you're good to go. My Dropbox folder, if I wanted to, I could open up a file from within here and have a look at it. Let's look at, let's see, I have a copy of this folder on here. And I'm going to open a file from this grouping. Here's one. And this is actually going from Dropbox now, and it's opening up a PDF file, a 5 meg PDF file through Dropbox through the internet. And here it is. It's a Canadian map, and we've got some basically. It is, I believe, in British Columbia, Alberta. Anyways, that's a file, and it's been opened up from the cloud. I'm going to close it now and go back to the other document we were looking at. So when it comes to where you want to open your file from, you can open them up from the internet. You can open them up from your local computer, network drive, whatever you wish. Interesting thing, if you go to your recent file list, it marks that this file was opened from my Dropbox account, and these are just regular ones from the hard drive. There was another one that was opened from Dropbox. So that in itself is kind of neat. Now, what else I really like about it is the fact that when you click on up here on Tools, you can pretty much customize the toolkit that you're going to use. Now, this is going to be really handy for a lot of people. Not everybody's going to use every single aspect of Adobe Acrobat. And with the customizable tools here, you can simply add any of these tools to this list, and when you're done with them on the list, you can simply close them again and get rid of them. So what I've done today is I've kind of picked and chosen several different tools from all the different tool sets to show you about the differences to Acrobat and loaded them in here. You notice not all of them are in here. If, for instance, I wanted to add one on the measurement tool, my options are to add that tool, or I could open it, or just add a shortcut. If I were to click the Add button, you see that the measurement tool now appears on my general tool list in here. So, going into my actual PDF file that I have open, we can see all the tools down here on the left-hand side, ready to use at any point. This is a really big departure here, how they've made the tools look and function. Just in case, they've added, I guess you could call them more candy colors. They're much more brighter. They're actually, the colors make them easier to identify what the tool does. So, you know, if I wanted to go and edit PDF, I'm going to look for this pinkish icon, that kind of thing. I'm going to be demonstrating where the major differences in this tools and their functions are as we go through all of the exercises. Let's see now. We've got this. Now, we've got that. Just going through my notes and making sure I'm caught up to what we're going to be doing. Good. Let's look at the first of the tool sets. This one is Create PDF. Now, when you click on Create PDF in terms of your tool set on the right-hand side panel here, it opens up a window. And basically what you're doing is this is what your choices are for Create PDF. We can create, and a lot of these features have been found before. A couple of them are a little bit updated. So for instance, if you wanted to create a PDF from an existing file, you could, under the single file option, all you'd have to do is select the file. And let me go to a particular folder for it. Let's look at a Word file. I will choose this as the feature, and then when I click the Create button, what's happening is in the background, it's opening Word, it's making the PDF from the Word file, shut down Word, and turn back to me the resulting PDF file, and here it is. So that worked really well. I'm just going to close that one. Don't need it right now. So Create PDF works in that function. If you go to multiple files, we have some of the options that were in quite a different space in older versions of Acrobat. The facility to combine files, to create multiple PDF files, and to create a PDF portfolio, those used to be found at a different part of the menu. Now they're in here, and it kind of makes sense that they are. I don't think we need to do those. These features, combine files and create PDF portfolio, haven't really changed from the last time. I can link directly to my scanner and scan a file and turn it directly into a PDF. This, of course, could be extended to modern photocopiers where they turn out a PDF copy from what you work with. You can still make PDFs from web pages. Whatever you have copied on the clipboard, you can paste and create a PDF from. What I like is the opportunity to just choose a blank page now, and you can create a PDF from it. It's untitled yet, but we now have a blank page to create. And sometimes if you wanted to create a form, that's not a bad thing to have. I'm going to close that now because, well, you don't really need a blank form just at this point. All right. So that's for the Create PDF features. And so if you don't already have a PDF created, you can. Of course, you can still create, when you install Adobe Acrobat Pro, you'll be able to create a PDF from any application that you have on the computer just by simply going File, Print, and choose your PDF choice. The next thing we're going to look at is Organize Pages. Let's look at that feature now. This is a tool here. So just before we go Organize Pages, I'm going to give you a little preview of what we've got in this document. We have 4 pages, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Going to go back to page 1, and if I choose to organize pages, it's going to give me some nice options of what I can do here. Now, very much like we had in the thumbnail view, we have the individual pages in the PDF. If you decide you want to change the order of the pages, it's as simple as dragging and dropping. So there, we move the title page now to the end of the line. If you wanted to extract a page, you can simply click on it, click the Extract button. If you wanted to choose all the pages and choose the Extract feature, you can extract the pages as separate files. So, for instance, they would be titled Pediatric Program 1, 2, 3, and 4.pdf individually. But I'm not going to extract them. I wanted to show you one other feature that I found newish and rather interesting, and I think you're going to appreciate this. To show you the split feature, I'm going to actually just close this PDF because I wanted to open. So hang on just a moment. I've gotten an audio message. Bear with me.
Oh, yeah, I think we've, yeah, for some reason I see you talking, Bert, but I can't hear you. So maybe check your connections there. Looks like we've temporarily dropped you.
There.
Hear you now.
Where I was going with this is I wanted to open a file. So I'm going to go to the my sample files and open up this one. If you look at the file size, this is over 20 megs for this PDF. So it's a pretty big file. Now, this is typical of what a lot of people have difficulty with when they make PDFs for whatever purpose. A 20 meg PDF just won't fit in an email package. So sometimes people need to take their PDFs and they need to split them up into smaller sections. So if you go to the feature that is organize pages, and you go to the split command, what I like about this is I can organize these PDFs by file size. And if I put, let's say the email cap for someone I'm sending this massive PDF to is 4 megs, well, I'll set my maximum file size to 4 megs, and then I'll click the split command. What happens now is it's going to split the document into 6 sections, each of them 4 megs or smaller. And that is a really handy feature for people who need to split up big PDFs. So I found that rather useful. Let's look at opening another file here. There's our individual component files. Might as well open this one just to have something to look and point at. All right, let's look at some other features. When we go to the Edit PDF command, this is a nice feature, and let me go to a page where we've got a few things we can throw around. So here I am. If I click the Edit PDF command, a lot of the features are similar as what we had previously, but they've just been realigned. What I like about it is now more than ever, users who are working with a PDF have the freedom to pick up objects and move them around. So I can you can click on the different elements that you have within your document, and let's see if I can grab all these components in the logo and pick them up, move them, delete them. One of the things that, let me see if I can grab this one. Maybe I should zoom in. But one of the things that I find useful, do you see these green lines? When you're moving your objects around in edit mode now within a PDF, you actually get the smart guides. And that's something you've been seeing a lot in Adobe lately, Adobe products, and it really helps to line up your objects. So whenever you drag an object around, when it comes in line with other objects, you can use your smart guides to drop them in just where you want them to go. So I rather like that. You can see that we have much more flexibility in terms of what you can do to add to your add to the contents of the PDF. You can drop in an image at any point and text. You can put a link in any object. You can do crop pages command, assign new headers and footers here, watermarks, and a whole bunch of other things. Any object you do choose, for instance, if I grab this text here, I can click on the right-hand side and change the format and change its color. So I would actually have to highlight the text to actually do that. Click on here, and now I'm going to change the color. So now I've changed it to a nice shade of green. Obviously, we can pick up objects like this picture and rescale them and size them any way we want. And it gives us a whole lot of flexibility to do with a PDF what we never could before. And little things like this. For instance, if I grab this photo or this image, I can do a quick flip on it, left to right and top to bottom. So other editing features are available in here that weren't available in Acrobat before. And they certainly make the job of tweaking a PDF, especially if you don't have the originating file, a whole lot easier. And I kind of like that. So I'm going to close that one. And I'd like to open another document for you now and show you some of the other improved features in Adobe Acrobat. I'm just going to close that document. And this time, I'm going to go to where our tools are, and I'm going to choose the option to create PDF, and I'm going to create it from actually a scanned file. And I want to show you how the optical character recognition features have been improved in Acrobat DC. So from the files, I'm going to choose oops, wrong folder. It's for OCR, optical character recognition. Now, this is a page I scanned just earlier on today, and I'm just going to simply click the Create button. Now, one thing you'll notice right off the bat, hey, this page is upside down. Oh no, do I have to start all over? No. Acrobat is pretty smart. So now that I've actually opened and this was just a simple JPEG file, and you'll notice that if I opened it, it turned it into, using the same file name, turned it into a PDF. So at this point, I'm going to go to the Enhanced Scans feature. Now, when I do that, you can see that Enhance Scans, this tool has taken control of what's going on. Now, at this point, I'm going to click the Enhance button. Now, what it does is it just optimizes the image for text recognition. Now, when I click it Enhance, it also will recognize that the page is upside down and crooked, and it's going to fix it. So if I click the Enhance button, I'm just going to re-optimize it, and it should rotate the page for me. Optimize. Yeah, look at that. Not only did it rotate the page, it also straightened it out. So you can see that everything reads in a straight line where it was a little bit crooked before. Now, tells me I need a
Yep. Sorry, Bert. Looks like we dropped you for a second there. If you can just.
Coming up. Yep. In any case, I want to continue and show you the text recognition features. Now that we've corrected the page and set the stage for text recognition, we go to the text recognition and we click, OK, recognize the text in this file. So what it's done here, or what it's going to do in a moment, is take really a scanned picture of a page and look at all the little bits of it and determine, OK, what is this? Is this a letter of the alphabet? And then do a text recognition. So I'm going to just click the button Recognize Text. It's going to do its thing. And now, instead of having a flat picture of what's going on, you can see if we drag our selection tool throughout, we know that, oh, okay, it's actually, we've got some text under there, and we can, there's text on top of where the image is. Now, we wouldn't be quite complete if we didn't do a check and make sure that the text recognition did a good job. So we're gonna go back to Recognize Text here and choose Correct Recognize Text. What I like about this is I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we can all see this better. So here it shows that you have a much improved interface for the text recognition wherever it had suspect items. So here it's highlighted the word to, and it's recognized it because it's a little crooked or a little faint as CO. I'm just going to correct it to the proper words to and click Accept. And here the word to again, and it has improperly recognizes as CO again. I change it to the letter TO and Accept again. The word including, it said include fog. So okay, that needs a little fixing. We're going to go including, and I will accept that change, and almost done, just a couple more to do. The word to, again, I guess it's something about that font that wasn't quite good. Now, it didn't really recognize what was going on here because there was a smear on the page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to properly replace it as Canada. You'll notice that what I like about it now, it gives you the text recognition of what it said right next to a copy of the scan that it chose. And now I'm going to click Accept and say that's okay, and all the suspects have been corrected. At this point, you can close the text recognition, and now you have a document that has been scanned and run through text recognition so that it actually appears as a text document. It can be, you can search for items in here, and now because we have the text recognized in here, I'm just going to save that document and save it into the sample folder. And now it's text recognized. Still, and what we could do in earlier versions of Acrobat is we could, at this point, with this text recognized page, save as other, export to, export as a Word file. And we don't get the picture, we will just get the Word document if we export this now as a Word document, ocrpage.docx, and it will now export the all of the OCR text as we've corrected it into a Word document. In fact, here's all the text, and it even included the pictures, and that's an option we can turn on or off. All right, enough with Word. And I'm going to close this document and open another one for us. And again, I'm working off my local computer now, so I'm going to open up a document for a little manual. And here it is. It's for a piece of sound equipment. And so this is a document, and one of the other new features that is, again, more communication-centric for Acrobat DC as people are using it, is the fact that you can, if you've got a document and you want to send it out for comments, and this is just a fairly a straightforward, simple, I think it's 14 pages of a manual. So if I wanted to send this out and say, well, what do you think of this manual? Is this something you can use? There's now a new feature called Send for Comments. Now, when you click on it, you'll see that it has a PDF that you've chosen, and you can send it out for comments by email or for shared commenting. You can track the comments and compare the files too. So I'm just going to walk you through the front end of it by sending the comments for email. When you click this feature, it walks you through the steps. So it gets you to specify or certify that this is in fact the PDF file that you want to send for comments. And I'll use that one and click next. And then you get to search through your address book for who you want to send the PDF to. And this links, of course, to your email program, whatever you have on your current computer. I'm using Outlook, and so I'm just going to send this one myself. And there we go, send it to. And of course, you could send it to multiple people and so on and so forth. And click the next button. And of course, when you're sending to someone something to someone, it has a subject line, and it has kind of a boilerplate one. It says, please join the review of the name of your PDF, and you're invited to review this document. Of course, you can edit this message and put your own unique invitation in there. When you're finished, just click Send Invitation, and it's going to send it out through Outlook. And I click the Continue button, and it's sending the file by email to me now. So we can open that later, but you'll have to take my word for it that it actually went through the send. So it's really easy. Now, once the file comes back to me through email, I can return comments on it and send it back, and then track the comments all through the Send for Comments feature, which is kind of new. So let's look at some other new features in Adobe Acrobat. One of the ones that I kind of liked and saw a massive improvement for was the fact that the Compare Files command. I'm just going to close this one now and look at Tools, and I'm going to choose Compare Files. So when we choose to compare files, the window opens up, and it asks us to select the old file and then a new file, and that's what we're going to do. We had this ability in Acrobat 11, but when you see how the file comparison tool works now, you're going to smile a lot because they've improved it a lot in terms of its functionality. So as far as the old file goes, I'm going to choose a document that was done in 2015, and I'm going to, for the new document, I'm going to choose its updated document for 2016. And although they're kind of 1 year behind, they still work. So you have a couple of settings in here. You can compare just the text, but I want to show you all of the features. So I'm going to kind of compare everything. And simply, when you load up old PDF and new PDF, click the Compare button, and here's what it returns. So first of all, it begins by giving you a summary of what's going on. And it's telling me there are 21 changes that have gone on. Most of those are replacements. You see how they're color-coded here? Most of them are replacements. One is an insertion, and then a couple of deletions as well. So there's a little bit of changes. There's a legend on here, and when we actually see the pages, we'll see that makes sense. Now, on the right-hand side of the panel here, it gives me the timestamp of when I did this comparison. So you can make sure you've got the same, you're looking at the same version of the same file. Sometimes files get updated and updated and updated, and the same name is used. So having the timestamp on the file is useful as well. And it noted all the changes, as I mentioned, and some styling change, 15 styling changes. Now, you might say, yeah, okay, that's fine, but does that really help me know what the changes are? Well, go to this button right here. It says go to your first change and click on it. And what it does now, it opens up your document, old and new, side by side. So we have the old on the left, the new on the right. And what I like about this, it basically it shows you every change one at a time. Now, the very first one here, it tells me the image was replaced. Oh, okay. And you look at the left one, and you look at the lines that are drawn between the previous version and what's now. Okay, they changed the date and actually the color on here. And the image, it was an image, so it's replaced. Now, if you want to tackle these one at a time, you can click on them individually and see what the changes were. Or if you want to get a nice overview, you simply click the Next Change button at the top of the dialog box. And it's, oh, this text was replaced. Oh, and this text was replaced. And it even indicates it used to be a registered trademark symbol, and it became the regular TM symbol. So it really goes into a lot of detail on what the changes are. Click on the next one. Okay, there was an image replaced, and it was a very subtle thing. Just the TM sign was put in on the newer version. So again, click through Next Change, and it really gives you the nitty-gritty on all of the changes that were made. Numerical change, a text change, number change, anything like that, and it goes through until you hit all of the changes. And it even tells me there was a graphic element inserted, text was replaced, and then I've hit them all. You can identify all the change, and it's a great way to do comparison between two documents. Anyways, that is that feature. I will close these now, and you can see the what the result is. There's a comparison report, and you notice that there are little yellow stickies, and you can see what was changed in the document. And what we're currently seeing now is the updated version. And if we hover over any of the current changes, we can compare what the old figure was with the new one. Isn't that neat? I like that feature a lot. I'm going to close the comparison report. And I'm going to, oh, actually, do you want to save changes? Yes. And we'll put it in there. Great. All right. So that was a handy tool, and I know we're running out of time, so I'm going to get moving on this. If I go to the Tools feature, and I want to go to Create, I'm going to create a blank page, and I said that was handy before, and this is one place it's going to come in handy. Right now, we're going to look at a feature a lot of people are using on Acrobat, and that is with forms. I'm going to prepare the form by clicking this button, and the Forms feature in Adobe Acrobat has gone through a lot of changes over the years. One of the things that it did for a while, it was using Lifecycle Designer, and it had that as an addendum to Adobe Acrobat to do specifically for creating forms from the ground up. And just let me save the untitled document. There we go. But now it's gone back to the much more traditional version of form creation in Adobe Acrobat. This is simply a blank page. I've got nothing on this page. It's quite blank. But I have told it I want this to be a form. And lo and behold, I went to prepare form, and here are all my form creation tools. They're pretty much similar to what we had before, where you can draw your text fields, and you can draw your check boxes and things like that. Your drop boxes. There are a few new features. For instance, we can put in image fields, and we can put in date boxes, and a few other different features like that. And it's to switch back and forth between what we're seeing here in terms of the working view and the preview. It's just a simple click of the button here, and we can actually see the different fields. So this would be a text field, although I didn't spell that right. That was a checkbox. This is an image. And this was the date field. I want to show you something in here. When I created the date field, it's much, much, much more user-friendly. In fact, as I'm filling out a form here, when I click on the date field, look at this. It's actually got a calendar. It makes it so easy to click on a date, and it comes in the proper format. So I'm going to go back to the editing mode for this document. Now that I've kind of shown you that, I want to show you another option in terms of some of the other tool enhancements that we can see in forms. Now I'm just going to close this document, and yeah, we'll just kind of save it and get out of the way. But there is a particular file I want to open, this one. And here we are, lunch choices. Oh, hang on. Sorry, I just wanted to close that and not save changes. There we are. Sorry about that. And go to here. We want to go to specialty and lunch choices. There we are. This was just quick, fun lunch order form. I'm going to turn it into a form. So again, if you have an existing PDF already, but you just need to apply form fields, click the Prepare Form button. It's going to analyze this document like it did before and automatically pop in form fields where it's needed. Now, this particular field, it reads date, but it's actually, because it was a simple underline in terms of the graphic, it didn't actually put a date field in, it put a text field in, which is fine, but we actually want to use the new date tool, date field tool. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the new date field tool and simply draw a little box here for the date field. So it's given it a default name. You can change that if you wish. In fact, maybe I'll just call it lunch date. Good. Now, if you go to all properties for this field, it basically, the formatting of it is a date field, and it's going to return a date like this. Of course, you can change the format. For instance, I kind of like this format because it, actually, this is the best one because you never get confused between a low digit, a single digit month, and a single digit day. So I'm going to set it up that way. And also for the name field, it's a standard text field, which is fine. Now here's something else that's new for Adobe Acrobat. If I click on any field, I can right-click. And what's really interesting, because this lunch order form has 2 pages, I'm going to get rid of the fields that are on the second page. But on this lunch order form, this is page 2. Here's page 1. Now, if I've created this lunch date box, and it also appears on page 2, I can right-click and say duplicate across pages, and it'll appear on all the pages in my document. So, lunch order form on page 1, lunch order form date area on page 2. Same thing with the date field. I can duplicate it across the pages. Very nice. Now, let's have a look at what we have down here for where we have choices. I'm going to zoom in a little bit just so we can read it a little bit better. Here, it has created, if we look at the field, it's basically a text field. So, you know what? We didn't really want a text field in there, so I'm just going to delete those because it just read an underline as wanting a text field. But I want to show you something pretty cool. Let's go to our radio button because, you know, when you're talking about lunch choices, you get to have one choice out of these 4. So a radio button is appropriate. We're going to choose that. We're going to draw the radio button. And I'm going to put it in a group called lunch. So this is going to be our lunch. And the choice is number 1. And this one is for the tuna salad on brown. So you notice that there's a little warning in here, 1 button in group. You need at least 2 buttons for the group. So I'll say, okay, add another button. And you see it loads my cursor, and I can add another button. This one, oh, it's already pre-part of the lunch group, which is awesome. And I'm just going to say, I'll make this button for ham. Click another button. I get to draw another one. And this one, my choice is going to be veggies. One last quick one. And this is going to be, sorry, for my button choice, it's going to be hummus. Okay, so we've gotten all the buttons. Here's something else that I think you're going to enjoy. I can grab all of those buttons that are in the series, and if you look on the right-hand side here, not only can we make them the same height and the same width, we can do them simultaneously. And now you notice all the buttons, even though they were hand-drawn, have been tweaked to the same size. I can also distribute them evenly and align them with touches of a button. Isn't that handy? I'm just going to tweak their positions a little bit so that they line up better on here. Now, in addition to all that, that's pretty good because these have been duplicated and basically are all part of the same grouping. What I like about the field as well is you can see there's a text field and the name of the text field. There's my lunch button group, and you can see the 4 different choices as I've named them. And there's another one, and of course things on the next page as well. So I find this tremendously handy to be able to duplicate things like this. Let me show you one more little thing. I'm just going to go down on the page here and just add a checkbox just for the halibut. No, the halibut wasn't on the menu, but this is just a plain old checkbox. And it's sitting here. But what I want to show you is another interesting feature that they've included in Acrobat DC in the Form tool. You know how oftentimes you have to repeat a field, whether it's a checkbox or whatever, many, many times. Now, if you right-click on anything, and I've right-clicked on this, you have an option to create multiple copies. And you can tell it how many fields across you want to go. Isn't this lovely? And how many fields deep you want to go. Let's say if I only want to do 1 row deep and 11 across. Look at this. I've got 11 checkboxes going all the way across. Press OK. And they're individually named 7.0, 7.1, 2, and 3, and 4. So that's quite convenient, and I find those improvements to the Forms tool make it a lot easier to use, and it's rather simpler to use as well. At this point, I'm going to let's just hit the preview button so you can see what it looks like. And of course, when we click in here, we can put in today's date. People can enter their names and make their choice for lunch, and then check off boxes as necessary. That's the second page. All right, so that's done. I'm just going to do a quick little save on that. And there, I'll just save it. Oops, and put it there. Good. Let's open up a different file, and I think I've got time to show you just one more thing when you send a document for signatures. Let me open a document here, and let's say we have a document we want to send out for signature. Let me just grab one here quickly. There, this one should suffice. Okay, so this document is open. Now, this document we want to send out, it has been written, it's been edited, we want to get the boss to sign off on it to know that it's okay. So we have an option to send for signatures. As I mentioned before, Acrobat DC is much more tool of communication. So when we click send for signature, this is documents called number 2, FTR, good talent. All right, so if there was a form part of it, we could prepare that, but we don't need to. We'll go right to ready to send the document. It is going to load the document up in here. It'll just take a second for sending for signature. It just takes a moment. Bear with me. Carl, you'll have to cut me off when my time is up. So here is I can send it to anybody that I want to. So I will send it to myself. But so it interlinks again with your email system. You can put a name on the document and update and customize your message. Please review and complete. And simply hit send. It sends out. And then when you go to this document has been sent. I'll get an email in a couple of minutes that I will have received that document. I will sign it and send it back. And it can all be, when you click on the Manage This Document, you can see that it's been received and sent back and signed. So it's a way of tracking the whole document, which is quite handy. Okay, let's see what else we have time for. We can send documents that was the document we sent for signatures. We can add certificates to documents as well. If we go back to this document, I'm just going to close the send now. And certificates are new as well. If you are using digital certificates in your office, they identify you based on your computer, your login name, and as well as the hardware on your computer. So, for instance, on this particular document, if I wanted to digitally sign it, I'll go to the second page here where we've got a little bit of white space. click on digitally sign, and basically it's telling me to just draw the box out where I want to put my digital signature. So I'm going to do that back here on the second page. And I've already created a digital ID file, and I have it already made up. It's one of the things that it's pretty easy to do through Acrobat. And or if you want to, you can configure a new one, but I'll use my existing one just to show you what it looks like. Click Continue, and this is what it looks like. And you have to put a password in for your digital ID. So I'm going to type mine in. And so the fact that I'm putting my password on not only verifies that it's coming from my computer, because there's a lock on this computer, but it also identifies the fact that I know the password. So I'm doing it. Now, what it's going to do, it's trying to save my PDF as, so it's saving it in a different location. And I'm just going to modify the file name a little bit, and I'm just going to put signed good talent in the same folder to save the PDF out. And this is what it looks like, the digital signature showing up in the document. And not only does it give my name written out, I've put an actual signature in here, and also it gives it not only a date stamp, but a time stamp that gives it right down to the second. So when you're giving a digital signature, that really tells you who signed it when, and it's quite usable that way. I'm going to just check and see if how we're doing on time. I think we're still good. Can we open this for questions?
A couple of things I'll leave you with if you have more. We have courses on not only on Adobe, but throughout not only on Acrobat, but throughout the Adobe curriculum, Dreamweaver, Illustrator, InDesign, Lifecycle. So we have courses on that. If you are looking to learn a bit more on the new version of Adobe Acrobat Pro DC, I'll just give you some upcoming dates of what we have there, everybody. And you can copy and paste that in. That'll be great. And so there's the introduction that's coming up on May 25th, 26th. So certainly maybe we'll see you on an upcoming course. So thank you again, everybody, for joining us. And again, we apologize for any inconvenience that occurred with the audio, but we all did hear an excellent presentation from Bert, and we look forward to seeing you again on an upcoming course or a future webinar. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good rest of the day.